Let's make meat lasagna. How do you make meat lasagna? Well, it's much simpler than you think. And I'm gonna show you how to do it. Basically, we're gonna make meat lasagna from scratch, okay? The magic secret, oven-ready noodles. Do not bother boiling your noodles. Newsflash, not required. And it's a pain in the ass. Some ground beef, some pork sausage, shallots, some whole peeled tomatoes. These are San Marzanos. You may ask, what is that? It's not a brand name, it's a fruit name. So this is a special breed of low acid tomatoes that make very good sauce. Buy whole peeled, not diced or pureed, because you want some body. We're gonna use mozzarella. We're gonna use some ground Parmesan and some ricotta. And if you want to, you can buy beautiful organic ricotta, it's no big deal. Or if you'd like to make your own, just look at the link in the description, because you gotta make your own ricotta someday. The first thing you have to know how to do is how to make the gravy, which is the Italian-American word for the sauce. What is the reason to make your own sauce? It's better, it just tastes better. It doesn't have binders or fillers or, God forbid, corn syrup, which is really just a sweetener, everybody, but you don't need that. You don't need that. You know everything that goes into it, you can put it in a jar, and it keeps in your fridge for 2-3 weeks. Paul Carbonara, my dear, dear friend, makes a sauce called I Love Haters, which he occasionally gives me a jar of it, because Paul loves haters. So first of all, we're gonna put some olive oil in this pan. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a meat sauce. You can do this and just omit the meat. It's very simple. That's, I'm gonna wait till this is sheeting. It's hot when it sheets across the bottom and doesn't go in legs. That's sheeting, okay? I chopped up some shallots, which you know how to do, because you watched Dinner Party tonight. And you're just gonna sweat these shallots a little bit. Gonna add a little salt. The two meats I chose are high quality ground meat. I'm not insulting anybody, but I'm gonna tell you this. Do not buy the ground meat that's in the case, okay? First of all, you know your butcher because you've always tipped your butcher! So they know you. They won't give you the stuff in the case anyway, unless they say, oh, we just ground this. The stuff in the case, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's usually not the good one, but sometimes it is. So I chose some very nice, lean, pasture-raised, organic, which is for you, not the animal, certified humane. It still died, but it didn't die in a horrible way. Beef, ground beef, and then I also chose some similarly raised Italian pork sausage. So this is gonna be a pretty meaty sauce here. Okay, those are translucent. This is a lot of meat. So you're just gonna kind of break it apart. Here's a common mistake. People boil meat a lot. They think they're searing it, but it's either too wet, the meat is too wet, or there's too much liquid. It's a little thing that you'll learn the more you cook it, the more you cook food, is that you don't wanna, if you're making a steak, don't throw wine in there before the plate is dry, the pan is dry, because you'll end up just having boiled steak. Okay, I'm just browning this. This is gonna be pretty good. I'm gonna salt and pepper this. This is a good pepper grinder. I have 3. Lenny gave me a really good one. I have an old one and this one. It says, unicorn. I recommend this. Now look, the other reason I recommend it is look at the filling station. It's pretty big. It's almost as quick as heating up the jar. And this keeps. And then you can have your own name, like Paul says, I Love Haters. You can have Imagine World Peas. Have you seen that bumper sticker? I was a hippie. Oh, you know what I started doing? Because I have total mobility now. I started watching this guy on YouTube called Yoga with Tim. It's great. He's pretty famous in the YouTube yoga world. Highly recommend Yoga with Tim. Obviously, there's nobody making those small corrections that are helpful, but he's pretty good, except he has super bitchy models on sometimes. But when it's just him teaching you, I think it's a great workout. And he does give you like, verbal cues that are help. It's free, He has a page where you can donate, but you don't have to, but you should. I'm now putting in the sausage. I'm gonna make the pan a little bit hotter. So I took these sausages out of the casing. You can also buy sausage meat without the casing. So I'm just cooking this. There's an actual time cooking, sorry. Salsa boy, when are you coming? If you don't come, I'm gonna call you boss on you. Don't bring me water, I'd rather have salsa. If it's water, I hate it, 'cause it ain't carbonated. Salsa. Is there anything to eat in here? I have pre-made blinis. Crucify me. I bought the blinis, okay? If you're gonna get the goddamn caviar, you're gonna have store-bought blinis. I'm not making blinis, okay? So, the truth is, I would recommend frying this in a separate pan, which for some reason I didn't do. But you know what? It doesn't really matter. If you come home from work and you want to make sauce for the week or for lasagna or for spaghetti, and you've used the wrong pan, it doesn't matter. You're still making delicious sauce. So I'm sort of pulverizing the larger pieces of sausage, said the actress to the bishop. And I'm going to do it in a sort of a Frenchy way, which is I'm going to put this in first, and it's going to go kind of nuts, okay? This is tomato paste from Gourmet Garage. Here we go, starting with some beautiful tomato paste. If you don't use the meat, you would sweat the shallots, and then you would put the tomato paste in. I'm gonna put in another sort of half jar of this. So now it's like a gnarly, almost deglazed with tomato paste. So when you deglaze a pan, you're just taking the brown bits off. And I kind of used the tomato paste to do that. I'm gonna put in 1 can with the liquid, like that. And because in this case we are making lasagna, I'm gonna put in another can without the liquid. And we're just gonna let this simmer on the stove. Now you wanna tell me that somebody coming home from work, or a boy or girl that you like, or your kids, is not gonna come in the house, smell this and go, wow, I'm happy to be home. Am I wrong?
You are not wrong.
It smells amazing, and it was so easy. And I'm just gonna stir this in. I'm gonna break some of the tomatoes with my spatula. But they'll disintegrate as they cook. They'll fall apart. So don't worry about this. So for lasagna, a tip I would just tell you is make a drier sauce. You don't have to, but your lasagna will hold together better if it's a little bit drier. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Okay, so this is doing its thing. I'm turning this down to low. If it's for lasagna, just wait for it to disintegrate a little bit and take it off the heat while you do everything else. If you're making it for your fridge, let it disintegrate and watch your shows, have a drink, relax. Pet your dog. Leonard got a corneal scratch, and I took him to the vet, and he told the vet that I did child abuse on him. He scratched it with his dew claw, scratching his face. I'm dropping in some just torn pieces of basil. You know, you can do this now, and you're also gonna put a little basil in when you assemble it. But this just gives it a little fresh and brightness, you know? You're telling me that's not better than Prego from the bottle? No offense to Prego, but it's like, man, come on. How long did this take me? 15 minutes. So once it's disintegrated, I'm gonna take it off the heat so it's not nuclear when I'm layering my lasagna. So I'm just gonna go ahead and move that off the heat and go and cut my cheese and stuff like that. You can, like I said, you can make your own ricotta, or you can find a really nice store-bought one. Okay, that's about a pound of ricotta. Ricotta is basically a very unset cheese. Anybody can make it at home. This is for a filling for lasagna, so it needs something to kind of set up. and you crack an egg into it. And you're gonna mix that up. You're gonna season this. A little pepper, a little salt. Think about a lasagna, okay? Remember you have salt in the sauce also. So you're just gonna make this taste good. When you get to this layer, you want it to taste good, right? I'm gonna take some basil, which I've washed and dried, and I'm gonna roll it up in sort of a packet like this. And I'm gonna do something called a chiffonade, which is you roll up the herb. This is too wet, but you roll up the herb, and then you cut it into tiny ribbons like that. And I'm gonna put that in my ricotta. Some people put bechamel or bechamel in their lasagna. It's a white flour thickened sauce. Bechamel, we call it. There you go, there's your ricotta. Your other ingredients are sliced mozzarella. So I'm gonna slice some mozzarella, which is notoriously hard to slice. One, I'm making some layers, so 2. And I'm gonna make some really thin ones for the top. Slices of mozzarella. So we're now ready to assemble a meat lasagna. You're gonna be a little bit surprised at how easy it is and how beautifully it turns out. I make this in the country if there's a lot of people. I'll throw this in the dinner. When you have fresh vegetables, you can also do a layer of, God forbid, zucchini or something like that. Just make sure you don't put in something that's gonna sweat a lot because you will, you'll douse your lasagna. As an alternate, instead of these big butch slices of mozzarella, you can shred it. You can buy it shredded. Just make sure you buy good quality. Or you can cut little pieces like this. All I did was stack the mozzarella in a stack and cut it in slices. Little sort of semi-shredded. Reggie said, I'm surprised you didn't shred it. And the truth is I cut it so poorly that I am shredding it so it's not blobs of melted cheese. But it's really your choice. You kind of can't mess this up. So the other thing I want to tell you is that after you make this, it should set a little bit after it's cooked. Like, I don't know, 30 minutes. It's a perfect thing to bring to a party. We are now going to assemble a lasagna. I am using this super cute pan from Falcon Enamelware, which Reggie and I were watching Jamie Oliver make roast potatoes. And then we couldn't do it because we ran out of space in the oven. But he had these cute pans, and we're like, oh my God, we totally need those pans. And they're English, and they're very super cute. So I'm gonna make a pretty small lasagna. Use oven-ready lasagna. What is the order? Sauce, noodles, ricotta, cheese. Sauce, noodles, ricotta, cheese. I think. The other things I would tell you about sauce are sort of secrets, grandma secrets, which is you shouldn't cover it. Now, chemically, that doesn't really make any sense, but they say you should never cover it because it makes it bitter. I gotta tell you, it's true. I did one cornball thing, which is that I bought pre-grated Parmesan, which is a no-no, but I did it. I'm using a slotted spoon for my sauce because I'm trying to use the least amount of liquid. Now, whatever is left here, you can use for other purposes, of course, sauce-wise, I mean. So I'm putting a layer of sauce, oven ready, the bomb. I was gonna do this, but look how cute and small they are. And I kind of press them down, okay? Like that, I don't know why. Blop, 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 little ricotta shower. Isn't there something weird about Bambi? Chopped mozzarella here. Sort of basically a kind of a thin layer. I'm gonna put a little bit of pepper on that, just because I want to. Sauce. So this may only be 2 layers, guys. It's just a very tiny pan. Voila. Ricotta. Little sprinkling of cheese. We forgot the Parmesan. We'll put it on top. Oh well. I'm gonna put a little sauce sort of sprinkled on top of the top, and we're gonna put the Parmesan on top of that. Looks just like a Stouffer's store-bought thing, however, it's 3,000 times better. Now, I'm gonna clean the edges because I do that, even though it's gonna boil over, I don't care. This is the tin foil. It's not necessary, but I wouldn't put this free in your oven, okay? because it will bubble over. You want to cover it loosely just to prevent burning. It cooks for about 40 minutes in total. You don't want to burn the top, so keep your eye on it if you don't want to cover it. If you do want to cover it loosely with a piece of tin foil for about 20 minutes, and then take it off so it can color, because you want some color. Okay, here I go. Ah! Ha ha! Here I go. Ah! Ha ha! That reminded me of a Christmas Eve. I came back from Paul's family, and I was dressed up. The house was pristine, and I was making goose. And I was beautifully dressed and with this fabulous drive to Englewood and his beautiful parents and everything. And I came back and I was here alone. And I was like, I'm gonna just go ahead and start the goose. So I'm wearing this beautiful outfit. The kitchen is like neat as a pin. And you're supposed to put the goose in boiling water for a minute per end. And then you put it in the fridge and it dries. It sucks the fat out of the pores, okay, so that you can render it more easily. I put the pan on the stove. My outfit, it's Christmassy lights outside, I have a little glass of wine, picked up the goose, went over to the oven, put the thing in the oven, and the entire pot of water overflowed, filled with goose fat. I dropped it by accident, and it was too big, and it went whoosh, like this, all over the entire kitchen, all over the floor. Goose fat water, and my outfit, the floor, the walls, everything. That was a drag. You're not gonna drop this like a goose. It goes in the oven at 375 for about 40 minutes, half covered. I'm gonna put it in, said the actress to the bishop. Look at that. Now it's pretty loose right now. It needs to set up. So you can see it's a little bit more liquidy, but it's pretty good. It's in pretty good shape. I could have left this in to burn a little bit more, but I didn't. It should really come to just above room temperature. And then it'll kind of close a little bit. You could eat it now, but first of all, it'd burn your mouth. And secondly, it'll be a little looser. But anyway, lasagna, I mean, come on, you can't do that? Blop, 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 little ricotta shower. Isn't there something weird about Bambi?